Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fuel for Success. This is episode 234, and welcome on this beautiful Tuesday morning. We are happy to see everyone and excited to be able to bring this show to you. It is the giving season, and of course, we're giving back by doing this show 100% free of charge. So if anybody ever asks you for money to watch the show, it's not us. Anyway, enjoy it. And it's good to see everyone. It is Tuesday, and just like every Tuesday today, we're going to be talking about life coaching and motivation. And one of our, most popular topics, because everybody wants life coaching, everybody wants to be motivated, everybody wants to succeed, and this is Fuel for Success. So we're going to be talking about that today. We've got some questions about how to handle frustrations in life, eliminating distractions, those sort of things. So we're going to focus and bring good content today. Myself and my co-host and my good friend, Matt Maddox. How are you this morning on this Tuesday?
Man, I'm doing well, my friend. I am in Washington, D.C. as we speak, and just really looking forward to our topics today because this is our Tuesday show. And like Mike said, Tuesdays we like to slow down and really help people get more focused, more organized. It's really about your life, your personal life. Which I know a lot of people that neglect areas of their personal life, and before long, because of this neglect, their business and their family comes crumbling down. So no matter what, you have to take care of you. I mean, as much as you may do for your kids and your wife or your husband or your job or your church, at the end of the day, you've got to take care of you first, which I know totally sounds contradictory because we promote an unselfish life. But Mike, in some ways, you have to be a little selfish. It's the only way you can manage your time the way that, and I'm not talking about a selfish attitude.
Right.
I'm talking about where you slow down and realize that if I don't take care of me and really make sure that my life is on point or it's organized or I'm in control, then we end up reacting to everybody and everything instead of really being in control of our schedule and our time. How many people pleasers out there do we know that live so frustrated because they're continuously trying to please everyone and make everyone happy? I've said many times that the more successful you want to be, the more you have to say no. Like some of the most successful people in the world place high value on their time. And so they don't say yes to everything. They don't, really, it's saying no to the good and saying yes to the great. To get to a path of excellence, really you've got to say no to good things. I know from my own life, Mike, and I know you can relate, I say no to a lot of good things. There's a lot of good things that I could do that I actually say no to because it doesn't fit in with my purpose or it literally is not in my priorities. Because if you want to have an organized life, you have to live by priority. You literally have to pretend that your life is an emergency room. And you have to give your attention and time to what's needed most. And then, of course, Mike, we could really spend 20 minutes talking about how to not give in to sometimes we react to maybe daily things when we've got long-term things, coming up that maybe we don't give attention to. And we've had experience with this, with all the hats that we wear, and all the things that we juggle, So we've learned some things, what to do and what not to do, and we love sharing that on this show, man.
That's right. Hey, I want to remind everybody, of course, this is an interactive show. If you're watching live, by all means, ask questions and interact. You can click over there in the chat box or down there, depending on your device, and ask questions live, and we'll get to them as quickly as we can. Of course, if you're listening on podcast or watching on the YouTube archives, feel free to ask a question for next week's Life Coaching Motivation Show. Text it in 727-341-5599 or email me, Mike at Matt.
Looks like Mike may have cut out for a minute. I trust y'all can still see me what Mike was saying is if you have questions, you can type it in the chat box. You can email us, Mike@mattmaddox.com, Matt@mattmaddox.com. And welcome back, Mike.
Hey, thanks. So I wanted to transition to the first question that we had that came in, and this is a great question. You sort of danced around a little bit already, and so we'll dive in a little bit deeper. And sometimes, as you're going through and you're trying to stay focused, you have your boundaries set, you know how to say no, but sometimes frustrations come along that are simply out of your control, from external sources, from, unexpected, occurrences or events in life. And when those frustrations come up, they're completely out of your control. How do you manage those in your life? How do you manage those frustrations that come up against you?
Well, you got to first of all understand they're going to come. Let me tell you what I've learned. I tell people all the time, if you're going to live a successful life, and I actually learned this from Donald Trump, you have to be able to handle pressure. This is one of the reasons why some people are not more successful, why they go back to the mediocre average life, is because when you're a successful parent and a spouse, and you're successful in business, and you're successful in your calling or your life's purpose, there's a lot of pressure that comes with excellence. Remember, Fuel for Success, we're going to continuously push you and challenge you to never settle, to never be okay with good enough, like to always go the extra mile, to be excellent in everything you do, to be in excellent health, excellent in communication, excellent in your relationships, excellent with time management, excellent with your schedule and your planning and your life, right? With that comes pressure. And sometimes the pressure of life can lead to frustrations. And the question was that they sent in was, what do you do when you deal with frustrations that are beyond your control?
Right.
Now, there are some frustrations we create. There's some frustrations we create because of a lack of planning, a lack of living by priority, a lack of being organized, a lack of communication. So you do got to identify so you don't stay in a level of insanity, which is what? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Like, I'm in evaluation mode. Of course, I get this way towards the end of the year because a new year is coming up. And I'm wanting to make sure that I don't repeat habits and patterns that didn't bring me success or high energy or fruitfulness or results. So let's deal with both types of frustrations. Frustrations we bring on ourselves.
Sure.
Relationship frustrations because we're stubborn. Relationship frustrations because we're not listening to our spouse. Relationship frustrations because we don't communicate, right? That's one set of frustration, and obviously that's where you got to take 100% responsibility and make the change. How you change is all in your habits. Everything comes back to habits, everything. It's like right now as a dad, it's one of the number one things I'm trying to really teach my son. It's, Caleb, no matter what, all about your habits today. Today is all we have. Literally. Not even God could fix yesterday. Like, there's no going back. And tomorrow literally does not exist. I mean, who knows what could happen tomorrow? I mean, you literally have no clue what tomorrow is going to bring.
Right.
So really, your only responsibility is today. So grab control of your life today and minimize those frustrations by taking full responsibility and having the right habits today. Like, you're frustrated because you feel overweight. You let your health go. You're frustrated because you can't fit into your pants. You're frustrated because, you don't have money in the bank right now because of a lack of savings, lack of maybe good financial planning, right? Or whatever it could be. Now, like Mike likes to say, let's segue over here to what do we do when we deal with frustrations that are beyond our control? Well, this is rather simple, but it's easier said than done. Ready for this? It's simple, but it's not easy. The simple part is really what you do is you continue to execute on your path of priorities and actions and whatever, and you proceed forward. And you put those frustrations, that are beyond your control in God's hands, and you say, you know what, there's nothing I can do about that. And that very act of accepting I can't do anything about this. Helps relieve the frustration to a degree. At least it helps re-energize you and get you to a place where you don't allow that frustration to overwhelm you. Or you don't allow that, you give it to God and you let it go. And then the other thing, when you're dealing with frustrations that are beyond your control, is don't think about it. Don't dwell on it. Again, easier said than done. Right. Dwelling on problems makes them bigger. Dwelling on frustrations makes them more frustrating. That's why the Bible teaches us whatever things are true, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good, think on these things. So we need to be thinking about, remember, it's all about staying in gratitude, right? So when you stay in gratitude, when you're frustrated, and if you can somehow, it's hard to do this because of the emotions, but if you can just pause, even go for a 5-minute walk out of your living room, change environments quick. And just start thinking about what you're grateful for. What that does is that centers you to a place where those frustrations are over here. You don't allow them to get in your soul. Because there's nothing worse. Anger's coming, my friends. Anger is a normal emotion. Uncontrolled anger, uncontrolled frustration can lead to a lack of creativity, can kill your energy, can distract you, can overwhelm you, can affect your health, can affect your sleep, can affect your relationships. So this is what I would say, Mike. Well, what would you throw in on that, my friend?
A couple of things. And first of all, two of our viewers, Stacy and Pacey, both said that a lot of times frustration comes when you're trying to speed up a process and not being patient, allowing the process to take place. And I think that's true in a lot of areas of life. When you're trying to speed up a process and you want it to happen faster than it naturally happens, that can be a tremendous source of frustration. When dealing with frustrations that are outside your control, just to use an analogy, and I know this isn't our business show, but if you're, starting a bit like you were starting a business 3 years ago in the middle of one of the worst recessions we've ever known, right? That is outside of your control. You can't fix the economy single-handedly, right? But rather than dwelling on it, rather than allowing the bad economy to own you, right? And being subject to that bad economy, you just look for, well, okay, great. So the economy's bad. Let's go from here and move on. How are we going to make money anyway? There's got to be niches. There's got to be ways. There's got to be things that we can do. And not necessarily ignoring it, but just understanding it. Don't let it own you. Figure out ways around it and move on. Yes.
Okay. Now, I love what you said, Mike, because, honestly, it all comes down to one word. We all need attitude training, all of us. Because think about it. Let's suppose you got your kid's birthday party planned, and it's an outdoor birthday party, and then it's just 15 minutes before the birthday party, out of the blue, it starts storming. Frustrating, yes. But what are you going to do about that? Really, your kids need to see how you react in those situations. It's called learning how to make the best of your circumstances and your frustrations, and literally the ones that are out of your control. Weather, sometimes I'll be at the airport and a flight will get delayed or canceled. The reactions of people is almost comical, but sad. Because I'm usually like, well, what you going to do? My God, the plane is delayed because of weather out of Chicago. What are you going to do about that? Okay, let's go read a book. Let's go grab a tea. Let's go do some people watching. Let's return some calls. Let's be in the moment. And I understand because, maybe we got appointments or maybe sometimes life just doesn't happen. Mike, we all like things to go our way. When things doesn't go our way, it leads to frustration. You literally got to learn how to just let go of the things that are out of your control.
That's so true. That's a great analogy right there too with the weather delays and people just, I don't know if they expect the airlines to fix the weather. I don't get that, but whatever. That's great. We actually had a question about how to react when things don't go as planned, and you pretty much just answered that. React with dignity, change the things you can change, and live in the moment, right? Understand that sometimes things aren't going to go the way you expect. Well,
case in point. We got a big, massive missions trip coming up in New York City coming up in a week. I mean, massive.
Mhm.
You know, and one of our biggest shelters that we were given permission to go into, 360 homeless teenagers, and we planned all this stuff. They canceled on us and said, "We're sorry, but we're not able to let you come in." You know, it was out of our control. But yet, because we reacted the right way, they actually changed their mind. You know, a lot of times, guys, I'm going to just shoot straight with y'all. In dealing with people that sometimes, you know, sometimes police officers, people that have to keep rules, okay? You know, sometimes when you react like a jerk, you're never going to get them to change their mind. But when you use honey and a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of kindness and sometimes cash, I mean, it's like, for example, you get to the airport, right? And the baggage cutoff is 45 minutes. And you get there and you missed it by 2 minutes. All of a sudden, you start chewing the lady out. Like, this is the most ridiculous rule. I see people do this. And I smile. I'm like, you're so stupid. Because if you were smart, you could actually get her to change her mind and slide your bag in there. Many times I've done that. I'll be like, oh, man, I totally understand. You know, and just by saying that and saying, like, man, it was my fault, right? Sometimes, like, you know what? Here, let me get your bag. Right? Seriously. Or, like, sometimes, you know, I remember I was at the Tampa airport and I was parked picking somebody up, and I ran inside real quick. When I came back outside, the security dude was writing me a ticket, or the officer, for being parked. And I come out and I was like, no! I was like, no, man. I was like, I'm so sorry, to run inside and use the restroom real quick. I said, I'm so sorry, man. And he goes, yeah, I got to give you a ticket. I was like, you know what? I don't blame you. I was like, I deserve it, you know. And literally, he's like, man, you got a good attitude. He goes, you seem like a good dude. He goes, you know what? I'm going to rip this ticket up. Like, so sometimes our reactions, when you're a jerk, you're not going anywhere in life when you're a jerk. And when you're rude with people and you chew people out, it's just, you know how many times, Mike, we've done it. People change their mind, man. And then sometimes when I've been at the airport and they won't let me take my luggage, a $20 bill helps a long ways. You know, I've gotten a lot of luggage through with the 20, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's worth it to me.
Hey, you know, and I think the unfortunate thing is that sometimes people have the reaction of getting angry and like chewing somebody out and like, let me talk to your manager and that. And once in a while that works. And that's unfortunate because it reinforces that stereotype that you can like bully your way through sometimes. But if that works one time, having the right attitude and being kind and sweet works 50 times. As somebody that's, you know, flown well over 1 million domestic miles, I can tell you that if you want to get on a flight, being angry is not the way to do it.
No.
Not at all.
No, I'm not going to lie to you. I know a minister, and I'm not going to say his name, and most of you are probably going to be able to guess who he is. His luggage out of 10 flights gets lost at least 8. It's because he is traditionally extremely rude and crude to the flight people. And I'm telling you right now what I know is many of them are like, oh yeah, well, I'll teach you a lesson. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just going to tell you, my friends, there is no reason to be a rude person. Just be the person that has good vibes, good attitude, positive attitude, and you're going to get so much more. You really will get more.
Hey, Matt, after the show, tell me who that is so that I never, ever eat at a restaurant with him, because I don't want my food to be anywhere near his food.
I sure will. Exactly. It's like that preacher who came into the Chinese restaurant, and he was always so mean. And one day, he was mean to this Chinese waitress, right? And one day, he felt bad. You know, God dealt with his heart. And he went in and he said, ma'am, I owe you an apology. I'm so sorry all the times I've been rude to you. And, you know, I just want to say I'm sorry. And she goes, oh, it's okay. Me sorry all the time I spit in your tea.
Yeah, right.
So, anyways, be careful, guys.
Yeah. Hey, we've got about 30 seconds. That's enough.
I guess, Mike, the moral of the story is never be rude to the people that handle your food.
No, never. Never. Ever. That's a really bad idea. Actually, just don't be rude. There's no cause for it.
No cause for rudeness.
I don't have much tolerance for rudeness. So we're at 20 minutes, but I have one more question.
Okay.
You got 60 seconds. Otherwise,
All
you're doing
right, let's see if I
push-ups.
can do it. 60 seconds. I love the challenge.
Simple question. How do you eliminate distractions from your life?
Well, you literally do it by making a list of what they are. You got to identify them first. Identify what distractions are. Number two, you've got to attack them. You've got to be as protective of your time as you are of your kid in a bad neighborhood or of your wife. Like, you've got to protect yourself from distraction by knowing what they are, knowing when they come or how they come, and then literally coming up with a plan. For example, the phone can be a major blessing, but it can be a major distraction. Once you recognize that, when you work, you work. You turn the phone on silent. You don't check Twitter, Facebook, or text messages. And you work for that 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 30 minutes. And literally the best way to avoid distraction is to know what they are and then to make up your mind. You're not going to allow them in your life anymore.
That's good.
How was that? Did I do it in 60 seconds?
Absolutely. You nailed it. Pacey answered in 10 seconds. She said, just say no.
Yeah, there you go, Pacey. That'll work. Just say
Awesome.
no. Just say no. Airplane mode is a blessing, Lance. I use it a lot. So anyways, Mike, hey, we'll be back tomorrow morning for Fuel for Success. Mike and I are not sure about Thanksgiving yet, but we're definitely will be here tomorrow and Friday for Fuel for Success. Don't forget, you can go to fuelforsuccess.tv and join with us on any previous of our 200. Mike, say this out loud, or it's in your mind. 234 episodes, man. 234 episodes of Fuel for Success you can watch for free. It's
Great.
literally like sitting down to a 30-minute seminar. You know, we're on a new thing where we're trying to do our show in 20 minutes. Just to help you guys out, all you ADHD people out there. But anyway, so yeah, you can go to iTunes and type in our Matt or Fuel for Success, and you can download any of our podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and tell your friends about this. Y'all have an awesome day, my friends. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Enjoy your Tuesday. God bless y'all.